Hello everyone. In yesterday's video, I had talked about the Office of Inspector General election on the Wax blockchain. And at one point in that video, I mentioned WaxLabs, which is a platform on the Wax blockchain where projects can ask for funding to create a project on Wax. So essentially, if you have an idea that you want to build on the Wax blockchain, but you lack funding, you can go to this platform, tell them what your idea is, and ask them to give you money in exchange for building it. Since I've released that video, I have had a few people reach out to me and ask me for tips and tricks on how to create their own proposal. They've wanted me to take a look at their proposal, tell them if I thought it was any good, help walk them through the process in general. And I figured if people are going to keep asking me this stuff and I'm going to answer them in private, I might as well just make a video so that this information is available publicly for anybody who wants to use it. So if you're somebody who's interested in possibly creating a project on Wax and you would like to get some funding for it, this video is for you. Okay, so here I am on the WaxLabs website. The link for this is labs.wax.io. I'll link that in the description below, but pretty simple, so you could probably just type it in. Here I am on the front page. So you're going to see a few things when you get here, but basically the first thing you're going to want to do is just sign in at the top right. So you're going to be signing in with your Wax wallet. You can use Wax Cloud, Anchor, Scatter, whatever. I would prefer to use Anchor myself so that it's a non-custodial wallet, but real quick, I'm just going to log in with WaxCloud. And for me, this is an account that I haven't used for anything on WaxLabs before, so I don't have a profile or anything. It's a fresh account. This is going to be the same process that you guys would go through as a new user. Once you log in, you're going to want to go to the Portal tab up here at the top in the menu, and you'll see on the left side that there are a few different options. Before you can do anything, you just want to create a profile. You have to create a profile before you can submit a proposal. So you just click create profile, fill out your name, country, website, whatever they ask for here, just a few details about yourself. By the way, keep in mind that this information is actually going to be submitted in a transaction to the blockchain. In other words, this info is publicly stored on the blockchain. So maybe don't go and put your home address in here because that's going to be viewable to everybody on the planet. Just keep that in mind. I'm just going to log out and sign in with a different account where I already have a profile created. So once you create a profile, you go to the portal, you'll see you have your profile here. And then now if you go to my proposals, you'll see an option to create a proposal here. But before we get into any of that, let's just go back to the home page, take a look around and see what we got here. You'll see that they have 302,900 wax in operational funds. This is currently like what's locked in their smart contracts that they can actually give to people like right now. But this 152 million additional wax in funds is available. Basically, they just go through this process where every month or two, I guess, they have a meeting and they basically discuss with each other, hey, do we want to take some funds from this 152 million here and transfer it to the contract? If we all agree on that, then let's send that to the contract. I mean, I'm not 100% sure of that, but I'm pretty sure that's how it works because I've looked at the transactions on the blockchain, and that's what it seems like goes on behind the scenes. So just know that this additional funding is there technically, so you are allowed to ask for like more than this 300,000 wax that you see. So here we go. This is the proposal lifecycle right here. This is pretty much the process that you go through as a user from start to finish. So you come to this website and you see the first thing you would do is you create a new proposal and you have to have a profile in order to do that. Proposer with profile creates new proposal. And in order to create this proposal and submit it to their smart contract, you have to pay 100 wax to cover RAM costs. I mean, obviously, RAM doesn't cost 100 wax, but they do that basically just to mitigate spam. They don't want people just spamming proposals nonstop. So you have to basically spend 100 wax to do this, and that's non-refundable. So if your proposal is rejected, you lose the 100 wax. It's basically a good way to incentivize people to make sure that they stop and think before they submit a proposal, because if you submit a stupid proposal and you're trying to just take advantage of people, well, you're risking 100 wax, so maybe don't do that. Maybe think about actually providing value to the chain if you want to get some funding. So once you submit your proposal, which I'll walk you through in a second, we'll go through that process. It goes into what's called the drafting phase. And this is essentially where you can look at the proposal, make some changes to it. You set up the different criteria for milestones and deliverables. I'll walk you through all that in a minute, so don't worry too much about that yet. But just know that in this phase, you haven't actually like really fully submitted it yet. You kind of just moved it to the next step. Once you're good with how you've set up your proposal after that, after you're done drafting, then you submit it to the administrators so that they can review it. Your proposal has to have at least one deliverable. Once you submit it, then it just basically goes to this point where you're kind of just sitting there in limbo, waiting, refreshing the page every couple of days or like 80 times per hour, trying to see if it got approved yet. And just know that this process can actually take a little while. My proposal that I submitted, which I'll show you in a minute, it took like over a month before it even got responded to. And I honestly, at one point, I just kind of gave up because I didn't know how long it would take. And I just thought like they weren't going to do it. And then one day I just refreshed the page and saw it got approved. And I was like, I was hyped because I was broke at the time. So, um, anyway, yeah, we'll get into all that stuff in a second. So if you take a look here, you'll see that there are 4 in review at the time of this video, 0 in voting, 9 in progress, and 27 completed. The reason I bring this up is just because, look, if you want to create a proposal, as with anything in life, if you want to learn how to do something and you don't know how to do it, aside from watching a video, one good idea might be to like look at people who have already done it successfully and see if there's like any common theme among those people, and look at the people who failed at it and see if there's any common themes among those. So let's take a look at the completed ones. I would encourage you to do this when you come here to the website and think about creating your proposal. Look at the ones that got completed and approved and see what they did, see what they offered. Maybe try and kind of model yours a little bit around that. So you've got Wax switch drops here, visualizing the Wax blockchain, C Sharp code generator for ABIs, Wax style creator tools. This is mine. Essentially, one of the common denominators here is that these are all tools that provide value to the blockchain. These are designed to help users. I mean, ultimately, the goal of this platform, think about it from the Wax team's perspective, right? Imagine you created some blockchain or some project and you have some money that you're willing to spend and invest into your project. And you're thinking in your head, all right, I want to grow my project. I want to expand. I want to get lots and lots of users. How can I make my project better? I know I'll create some platform where people can submit ideas to make my project better. They can ask me for money. I'm willing to fund it, but it has to be good stuff that helps my project, right? So then people come here, they submit ideas, and you're going to look at it and you're going to think, does this actually benefit my project and help it grow? And is it going to bring more people to me, or is this just stupid? Is this going to hurt everybody and not do anything for my project? That's how the Wax team is going to be looking at your proposal here. So you want to make sure you're adding value to the blockchain itself, to all the users, to Wax. You basically want to make the ecosystem better. This is not a place where you want to come and just be like asking for money for some for profit business that you want to create. Now, if you click on any one of these particular items here, you can actually go to the proposal page and you can read over the whole proposal. You can read their description, the financial roadmap, the deliverables. This is all stuff that we're going to go over in a second. But this is my proposal right here that I made a few months back. I got approved. I already completed all the work and already got paid. This is fully done at this point. But essentially, if you want to read my proposal here, it's basically I would like to make some improvements to my platform as well as create new products for the Wax ecosystem. Since I launched this project, we've brought tremendous value to the chain itself, to the end users, to the project creators, and in this time, we haven't really raised any money at all except for small little dollars here and there. I would like to make lots of upgrades to my platform. Here's the products that I'm already offering. Here's proof that I'm already adding value to your network. And here's some more products that I would like to build that would add more value to the network. So here in this description, there is a character limit. I think it's like 5,000 characters. So you can't go like too in depth. You have to be kind of careful with how many words you use. But you do want to give a good breakdown here of what you're trying to build. You want to give pretty much all the details possible that you can fit into this description. Give them a full rundown of why this benefits their platform. Like, why is this helping Wax? What does this do for everybody? Then in the financial roadmap area, you just kind of give a breakdown. You say, all right, this part of what I want to build is going to cost this much. This part's going to cost that much. And here's how long each thing is going to take. But this is kind of just like a description. It's not necessarily meant to be like a contract per se. Down here where you have the deliverables, this is where you're going to get more into detail about how long each thing will take and how much money you're actually requesting. So these milestones here, You just give a very, very short description. This is essentially just a title. You don't get into detail here. You just put like, all right, blending contract plus UI, $2,000, 10 days to complete. Now, all these different deliverables are all the different deliverables. These are all the different items that are part of what you're building. Remember, you're not going to get paid up front for what you ask for here. You have to complete each one of these things one by one. So let's take a look at mine here. There are 5 different deliverables. The first one is a blending contract and a UI, and a synthetics contract and a UI. 10 days to complete, $2,000. The second one is a token tracker migration. I built like a coin market cap type thing for Wax tokens, and plus rebuilding it in React.js, 5 days to complete, $1,000. And then we have more here, a tutorial series. Essentially, the way it works is after I submitted this proposal, they approved it. I had to complete each milestone one by one before I got paid anything. So I completed the first one. I made this blending contract, I made the UI, and then I submitted proof of that. You can view the completion report right here. This is just a URL to essentially my proof that I completed the work. I submitted this, I marked it completed, I gave the proof, and then I had to sit back and wait for them to review it and decide, did I actually complete the work? Do I deserve the money? And then once they made that decision, they released 23,557 wax to me. And then I was able to claim that. But while I was waiting for that to happen, after I already submitted that and hadn't gotten paid yet, I started working on the next one because these are all different. You get paid one by one. So I went to the next thing and I started doing the token tracker migration, rebuilding it in React.js, submitted proof of that. And then I got $1,000 for that once they approved it. And then I completed each milestone one by one until I was done with all 5. And these did take a while, by the way, so don't get all antsy if your milestone doesn't get approved on day one. I think I waited like a month and a half at one point for one of my milestones to be reviewed and accepted. And I didn't panic at all the whole time because that's just how it is. You kind of have to wait, sit around, and wait till they get around to it. All right, so now that I've rambled and babbled for like 20 minutes, let's go back to the portal and create ourselves a proposal. So all you got to do is go to the portal, go to My Proposals, and then you click on Create Proposal right here. So you're going to create a title, just, basic descriptive title like NFT Market on Wax. If you wanted to create an NFT market or something, just something basic. Quick description like I want to create a market where people can trade NFTs using any fungible token they like as the payment method. Then you paste the URL to your image, just a logo somewhere. It could be an IPFS hash if you want, or you can have it stored on some website. Doesn't really matter. Just link to some URL. All right, then you have the content here. So I said it was 5,000 characters. It's actually 4,096. So here is where you're going to put the bulk of everything you want to tell them. Hey, my name is so-and-so. I have an idea to create this project. I think it will add value to the Wax blockchain for these reasons right here. There isn't anything out there like it yet, or if there is, I don't know about it. But I believe this would be valuable because people want to do X, Y, and Z. The first step of the process is going to be me completing this thing. The second step is going to be me completing that. Go through each thing that you can in as much detail as possible while remaining within the character limits. Keep in mind that you just want to talk about, like, first of all, obviously the scope of your project, like what you're building, but the goal here is to let them know why this adds value to Wax. Remember, this isn't about you. Like, you're not coming here to say, hey, I need money. My name's so and so. I really need help. I need help. Nobody cares, right? You want to appeal to what they want. They want to grow their chain. They want to grow their network. So you should be here. If you're thinking about asking for a grant, you shouldn't be thinking about yourself. You should be thinking about how you can help other people. And what you put in this content box right here should explain that. You should be talking about how what you're building helps others, how it helps Wax itself, and how it helps the users of Wax, how it could help maybe grow the chain, how it could help maybe bring more people to Wax, bring more trust to Wax, make the lives of creators easier, and ultimately help everybody build more, right? That's what you want to be putting in this box here, but also obviously like talk about what you're building. You want to give details, obviously. All right, then you have the financial roadmap. So you'd say like 2 weeks for the smart contract, $2,000. 1 week for the UI, $1,500. Total time, 3 weeks. Right? That's 2 plus 1 is 3? Yeah. Just kidding. Total funds, $3,500. Something simple like that. Now, keep in mind, by the way, that they don't seem to support Markdown as far as I know, or anything as far as formatting. In other words, when you create this stuff, yeah, you might hit enter to try and make it look better. You might hit enter a couple times and put some formatting here. But as far as I know, uh, there is no formatting when you actually submit it. It's going to show up on their front page as a wall of text. So just try and keep that in mind. To you, it might look like this seems very easy to understand because I have this spaced out on different lines, but once they actually go to the front end, once people look at the page, it's going to look more like this because it's just not going to keep the formatting. Not that that's like that important, but it's something you should know. So you should try and think about that just to make your description and stuff a little bit easier for everybody to read. Maybe just try and put bullet points in between stuff, or maybe a dash like that, so that people know like where things are separated. All right, yeah, estimated time. You just put an estimate here, 21 days. Category. It could be marketing, infrastructure tools, development tools, governance, or other. Usually it's going to fall under infra tools or dev tools, but I mean, it all depends on the scope of your project. In this particular case, if it was an NFT market, I would probably put that under infrastructure tools, I guess. I don't even know. A little bit confusing, but it doesn't matter all that much. And then you click create proposal. And it's going to open up Anchor Wallet, and you'll see that they've got two transactions packaged in here. Kind of sneak this in, but it's not really sneaking in because they told you about it on the front page of the website. But just keep in mind right here, you'll notice there is an EOS.io.token transfer here. Just packaged in right there, 100 wax. If you're submitting this proposal, it's going to take 100 wax right out of your wallet when you submit this transaction. So just make sure that this is something you definitely want to do. But keep in mind, this is not the final step. Like, this is not final right now. Once you submit this, you pay the 100 wax, you can still go back and make changes. You actually have to still go back and make changes before you can fully submit it. It goes into the drafting phase. You have to break down the milestones in more detail. So don't worry too much. Even though you're putting in the 100 wax, you still have a chance to go back and change things pretty much as many times as you want. Man, you guys are killing me right now because I can't show you the rest of the process unless I actually submit a proposal and pay 100 wax. So I guess I'm going to do that. I'm just going to waste 100 wax on this and just sign it to my ledger real quick and get this loaded up. All right, I'm signed in, so I'll click create proposal. I believe I have 100 wax in my wallet. I'm going to sign the transaction. And now my proposal has been successfully created. You can finish your proposal by editing it and adding in your deliverables. So you go to my proposals, and you'll see I now have NFT market on Wax. I want to create a market where people can trade NFTs. This is what it's going to look like on the front page. But you see the requested amount here still says 0 because I haven't actually finished filling in all the details with the deliverables. So let's go in and do that right now. NFT market on Wax. So if after I click on it, it brings me to this page, and I can click edit proposal, add new deliverable. That's what we want to do right here. So you click add new deliverable. You're going to say how much USD am I requesting? Well, if we're going by this example here, what did I put? $2,000 for 2 weeks for the smart contract. So for your deliverable, yeah, I know, close. So for this first deliverable, you'd put 2,000 under requested USD. Just so you know, the wax amount here, you're going to get paid in wax, not US dollars. The wax amount will fluctuate up until the very moment that they actually pay you. So let's say you submit a completed deliverable after you started work on it. After you get approved, you do the work, you submit the deliverable, and then it says like 38,986 wax for $2,000. You submit it. Well, let's say the wax price doubles in the next week before they get a chance to review it. This is actually going to drop down to like 19,000 at that point. It's based on whatever the value of wax is at the time of them actually paying you. So the dollar amount is what matters here. You're getting $2,000 no matter what at current market value once you get paid. Hey, you learn something new every day. So you can actually click this button right here and swap it to make it requested wax amount instead of a dollar amount. So if you request 100,000 wax, I don't want to give you guys bad information, so I'm not 100% sure how this works. I don't know if you would get 100,000 wax no matter what, or if that would still fluctuate. I don't think I've seen any proposals where they get paid in wax, in a wax amount. Now I have to take a look. Yeah, look at this. WaxLabs rebuild. The requested amount, 500,000 wax. So yeah, Tippett requested 50,000 wax. So you know what? You actually can request a wax amount, it looks like. Interesting, interesting. I think most of us would probably request the USD amount though. I mean, but that's totally up to you. All right, so then you put the recipient. This is going to be who gets paid if it gets approved. So probably your own wallet address, I would guess. But you can change this if you want the recipient of the funds to be some other account. Small description. It can't be very long. This is just a quick. This will be like, market UI. Something simple like that. Just like a quick little title. And how many days will it take for you to complete? So I said 2 weeks, so we'll put 14 here. And then we'll click Save Draft. And you actually have to sign a transaction to do this. All right, so I still don't see it, but if I refresh the page now, there should be another deliverable here. Now we have a deliverable. And if I wanted to add another one, I would just click Edit Proposal. Then go down and add a new deliverable. And then so we'd say, well, the first one was supposed to be smart contract, actually, not UI. So then we make another one. We'd say, requested amount, $1,500. Small description, smart contract, amount of days 7. This brings up another weird question now. I wonder if you can have like one deliverable where you request USD and another one where you request wax. Very interesting. I wonder what happens if I do that. I'm going to keep the first one set to wax and then set the next one to USD and see what it does. Oh, and by the way, each action here, like each deliverable, is another action that you have to sign when you submit the transaction. So if you're using a wallet like Anchor, or if you don't have like the auto sign thing enabled on Wax Cloud Wallet, it does get to be a little bit annoying because if you have like 10 deliverables, especially if you're using a ledger like me, when you try to submit that transaction for the proposal for all 10 deliverables, you're going to have to sit there and click like 90 buttons and keep approving like 800 actions in a row until it finally submits the transaction. All right, so once you have everything set up the way you want it, once you've gotten your milestones or deliverables set up properly and you're happy with everything, then you can actually click Submit Proposal. And this is when you're finally submitting the transaction to the team in order for them to review it. You cannot make changes at this point. Once you submit it, it's pretty much not going to be editable until they make a decision or until I guess you can cancel it. But once you submit the proposal and you go back to the portal, you will see it is going to be under what's it called, submitted or in review or something like that. It's going to be in some status where you're basically just waiting on the Wax team to look at it. There's not really much you can do during this period. However, they do have a Telegram for WaxLabs, so I'll put that in the description below. I'm not really sure how active they are in there or what you're really going to get done by posting there. I don't think you can really expedite anything, but it is a good resource to have just in case you want to get in touch with anyone and find out, like, hey, did you guys look at my proposal? It's been 2 months. What's going on? I'll link that Telegram below just so you have that resource available to you. But essentially, it's just a waiting game once you submit your proposal. But after you submit it, it can get accepted, it can get rejected, or it can be sent back to you so that you can make modifications to it. Maybe they looked at something and they decided, well, we kind of like the proposal, we don't want to reject you, but we want you to change a couple things here because this doesn't look right. Well, they can do that. They can send it back to you so that you can review it, make some changes, and then send it back again. And you don't need to pay like every single time, by the way. So if they send it back to you for improvements, you're not going to have to pay like another 100 wax or anything. If your proposal does get accepted and you do the work, right here on the actual proposal page when you're logged in, when you go down where these milestones or deliverables are, you'll see mine says last reviewed and it has this date and view completion report. That's because I already submitted this stuff and this is already done. But if I was like in progress in the process right now of needing to submit these deliverables still, you wouldn't see this stuff right here. You would just see a form that says, give us proof that you completed this. And you would essentially just paste the URL right in this box, submit it, and then you wait for them to get back to you and approve it. Tips and tricks. I mean, I've gone over most of it so far. One thing I would like to mention, I guess, that you should probably maybe keep in mind is remember, you want to be appealing to other people's interests here. This is not about you. So try your best to provide as much value as possible as you can. But like if there's something where you need funding for infrastructure, for example, provide all the value you can first. Like take a look at mine. The last deliverable for me was server costs and, costs for an API node. That's not something I can submit proof of. That's something I need the money first and then I go and get it, right? So if you look at my first four deliverables, blending contract, UI, synthetics contract, UI, token tracker migration, rebuilding it in React, coding video, tutorial series, job platform, user interface. Like these are all things where I did work, submitted it, showed them how much value I added, and I put this API node one as number 5, the last one on the list. I did that intentionally because I figured, look, if I'm going to ask for essentially a favor here, like, can you help fund my equipment? I would never put that as the first milestone because that's like asking to get rejected. You're basically going there at that point. You'd be saying, hey, um, I'm coming here and just straight up asking for $7,000 right off the bat, and I haven't even done anything yet. I don't think that would be a very good idea at all. I think it's much better the way that I did this here. I put this last on the list so that I could complete all the required work, and then and only then would I get the other money, the $7,000. I would encourage you to do something similar if you're going to be asking for any type of like, equipment costs. Make sure you're doing work before you ask for anything because it's going to look bad on you if you try and get money first, and you'll probably just get rejected if you do that. So that's one thing to keep in mind, definitely. Another thing to keep in mind is that this is mostly supposed to be for public goods. And what that means is you want to be creating projects that help others and not necessarily be charging people to try and make a killing. I mean, it's not like totally against the rules to make something of the product that you create. Like I make money off of Wax now, but the thing here is that Wax is funding you, right? Wax wants to grow their chain. So they want to fund products that help people. They don't want to fund some like monopoly that's going to charge people a bunch of money. Now, like, imagine I created a market, an NFT market in the example I just used, and in order for someone to create a drop on my market, imagine I was going to charge them $100 and they cannot create a drop unless they pay $100. Imagine I submitted that to WaxLabs. They'd be like, why would we fund this? Nobody's going to use it, so it doesn't help us. Right? You're trying to like get double paid here. If you're getting money from us, then why do you get the $100 from the customer? That doesn't make any sense. So don't do that. Like, whatever you want to make off the product, probably just price that into your proposal. So if you were going to ask for like $5,000 to build a market and then try and charge every customer $100 with a goal to make like, $20,000, you'd probably be better off just asking Wax Labs for the $20,000 and making the product free for the customer because that's what they want. They want the product to be available to everybody so that it helps everyone. That doesn't mean you can't charge anything. Like on our drops, I didn't actually get funded for drops, by the way, but let's say I did. On our drops, we get a 2% fee on completed sales. That's kind of okay. Like you can do something like that with Wax Labs because yeah, you get a 2% fee after a sale gets completed. That sustains the growth of your platform and keeps it operational, but you're also not pricing out the average user. Like there should be no barrier to use your product if you're getting funded by Wax Labs. That's what it comes down to. Make it free, make them be able to use it, and then maybe like after they make money with it or after they complete a successful transaction, maybe then you can take a small little cut. That's usually okay. However, if you're going to do that, I would mention it in your description because they'll probably be upset if they fund you and they find out that you're, trying to earn money that you never really told them about. I think that is mainly everything I wanted to cover. I'm sure there's going to be more questions. I probably forgot something or I babbled for like 80 years and you got confused. If that's the case, just post a comment below and ask me whatever you need to ask me, or go into my Telegram. I'll post a link to that below as well. You can come in there and ask me any questions you might have. I'm happy to clear anything up for you guys if you're still lost. Thank you guys very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and share this video around. It helps the channel a lot. And I will see you guys next time.